That's what I like to spend my money on. Rocks that you can get for free. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we're going to be going through what you can collect during your time working on a cruise ship. But before we start, I just want to remind you to click like and subscribe for some more cruise ship content. But as for now, let's get into it. Okay. So if you are about to start your cruise ship adventure, then you need to get excited because you're going to be going to some incredible places and you're going to want to collect something to remember them by. So today I'm going to go through a few different things that you might consider collecting on your travels. So the first one, and the one that I chose to collect, magnets. So as you can see, I have my lovely magnet board behind me. I literally love it so much. It reminds me of all the places that I have been to, and when I wake up in the morning I can look at it and it just brightens my day and reminds me to be really, really grateful. The only thing is, although my board is lovely, I actually only started collecting these magnets like halfway through my cruise ship career, so there's a lot of places that I've been that I actually don't have a magnet for, which I'm upset about, but you know what? I don't lose sleep over it, it's fine. But I do wish I'd started collecting right at the beginning of my travels. I also wish that I had not just got a magnet for each country. So I kind of dilly-dally between the two. So with Australia, I only got a magnet that said Australia. I didn't get a magnet that said all the ports that I've been to in Australia, whereas with Alaska I got a magnet that said Alaska, but I also got one for Juneau, Icy Strait, Seward and Skagway, so I know each place that I have been to in Alaska, and I really wish that I had done that with everywhere I've been and not just kind of gone for the country. I wish I'd have got a magnet that said, you know, the town or the city that I visited, but you live and learn. And I do think if you're going to start collecting something, it is nicer to have a memory of each port or each town that you visit rather than just the country, because we can all remember the country. Like, I know that I've been to Australia, but if I listed off the ports that I've been to in Australia, I'd probably miss a few. So yeah, I would definitely, if I could go back, I would definitely have collected magnets of every port and town rather than just the country. So the pros of collecting magnets is that they look great. I mean, I know I'm a bit biased, but I absolutely love my magnet board, and you can display magnets like in any way you want. You can put them on your fridge, you can do what I've done and get a little board and put them up in your room, and I just really like the way they look. I think they're great, but the cons of collecting magnets is they can be heavy, and working on a cruise ship you'll probably buy a load of stuff anyway, so coming back, I mean, every crew member's had this situation where you finish your contract and you are definitely overweight. So that's the other thing. Magnets are heavy, so if you're going to be going to a lot of destinations, yeah, a lot of your weight is going to be taken up by magnets, as mine was. Another thing is magnets can be expensive. It does depend on where you are in the world. So for example, I went to Bora Bora, so I have my little Bora Bora magnet that I actually paid the equivalent of £15 for, and that does make me a bit sick when I think it's actually just a rock that someone has painted a beach on. But you know what, it's my little thing. That's what I like to spend my money on. Rocks that you can get for free. But yeah, so magnets can be expensive, and this one is also very heavy, but obviously there are cheaper options, but that is something to bear in mind. You know, you can get magnets for £2 most places, but occasionally you do go to places where they're 15. Another con is they can be breakable. So I used to buy a lot of magnets like this, but the only problem is if I dropped this, it would, on a hard surface, it would probably smash. So you have to be very careful with magnets like this. Now I tend to buy a lot more magnets like this. So they're plastic, so if I drop it, it really doesn't matter. Like this magnet was £3.50. I mean, that is a normal price for a magnet, but yeah, so and they're lighter actually. So if I was to go back and do my magnets again, just for like ease and price, I'd probably get more magnets like this because they're not breakable, they're not as heavy, and they're actually cheaper. The second thing you can collect is money. So I have this big bag of money, and it's all different currencies, and I know what you're thinking, like, why haven't you put that in a bank? Because all of this adds up to about £10, and the money shop is not going to take about 50 different currencies. I haven't actually done anything with this yet, but what I have seen some people do is they make like some really nice pictures with just pennies, or if you've got notes, then you can make some kind of cool artwork with the change that you've got left over if you're visiting, you know, places where, you know, a note like Thailand, you know, 100 baht or something. I don't know what that equates to, but anyway, so money is something that you can collect if, you know, it's just loose change, and it's really good because you know, it does make use of your leftover change. And as I just said, a lot of currency converting places don't actually take change, so instead of you being left with all of this change and not knowing what to do with it, you can make like a really cool picture out of it, and it looks really cool. It's very unique. There's not many people who've done it. I think I saw it on like Pinterest or something. The only thing is, it is heavy. This bag is probably about £3 in weight, but this is collected over like 4 years of being on ships. So anyway, it's heavy, but you know, it's money. So another thing you can collect is postcards. So I actually didn't really intentionally start collecting postcards, but just over my, you know, they're so cheap. And that's the thing, they're light in weight, they are really cheap. I mean, a postcard is usually about 20p depending on where you're getting it from, and they're really nice. I mean, you don't have to actually use them as postcards. You can make like a display out of them, you can put them all over your wall and make them look really pretty. So you can get really creative with postcards. And actually, something that one of my old cabin mates used to do is she didn't just collect postcards and then kind of take them home and arrange them when she got home. She would buy a postcard in the port and she would write something on the back and send it home to her house or to her mom. And then when she went home, she would get all these postcards together, and as well as making a really nice display out of them, they also have something on the back that will remind you of like what you did that day in that port. And that is a lovely idea. So I think if I could go back, I would do that. However, it is a lot of effort. I mean, you don't have a lot of time off in port normally, so to run around getting stamps and posting it, and it depends how dedicated you are, but magnets are easier. Something else that is very common to collect is shot glasses. Yeah, basically everywhere you go, I don't think I've ever been to somewhere that doesn't sell shot glasses with the name of the place on. I mean, you might use them if you have a party, or you might not. You might just use them for display. But yeah, that's quite a cool idea. The only thing is, obviously, they are breakable, so you do have to be careful with them. They are relatively cheap. They're normally not expensive, but I don't know what I'd do with them. I mean, you would just have to find like a cabinet for them or something, but yeah, I mean, it's something you could consider. Another thing you can collect is the string bracelets. So these are normally really cheap and really light in weight and really cool. Obviously, you know, they're great if you're a bracelet person. I'm actually not. I think I've got one, well, I've just got this one and I didn't buy any more. I like orange. But yeah, no, if you want to collect something light and fairly cheap and nice that you can wear, then these little bracelets are great. This one actually doesn't have the name of where I got it from. I think I got it from Cape Verde, but you can get one with the name on. Notebooks. If you're a stationery lover like I am, then notebooks are a good one. I got this one in New York. But yeah, so you can collect notebooks, especially if you use them a lot, then they are really handy to have. They are heavy though, and they can be expensive, but they're nice. Shells. So shells is another great one. They are free of charge, and of course, I mean, you can pay for them, but if you're going to like a beach, lots of beachy places, then you will be able to find lots of shells. Or you can pay for them like pre-done. So this little shell I got in, I think someone got me in Rhodes, and they're really light, depending on the shell. They're really cheap, sometimes even free, and it's environmentally friendly. Sand. I don't actually have any sand, but something that an old friend used to do is everywhere we went, a lot of beachy places, she would get a little bit of sand in like her little pot. I think she took loads of pots with her, and then she would write on the pot where she got it from. And that's a lovely idea. Once again, I don't really know how she's going to display them when she gets home. She's just going to have like loads of little pots of sand everywhere. But it's free and it don't weigh much. A great one is selfies. So you can take selfies of yourself and have like a monument in the background. So for example, normally a town, pretty much every single port has something that it's famous for, whether it's a church or a museum or a shopping centre or whatever. So you can take a picture of yourself in front of, I mean, well, wherever you go. It doesn't have to be a monument, you know. If you spent the day at a water park, you could take a nice selfie of you and your friends, or just you in front of the water park. And then when you get home, you can print all the pictures out. And I mean, it might look a bit vain because you're just gonna have like 100 selfies of you, but it's a cool idea. You know, you've got a picture of you at every place that you've been, in front of everything you did. So that's a really good way of remembering everything. And it's free, and it's lightweight because it's gonna be on your phone, and most likely you're gonna be carrying your phone anyway. Teddy bears. So this little guy is from Alaska. I've had to root him out of the dark depths of the cupboard, but yep, so he is from Alaska. He was actually a present. But if you are into like teddies, cuddly toys, then you could always get lots of teddies. I don't know how your cabin mate would feel about that though, if you just decorate the cabin in teddy bears, but yeah, run it by them first. But yeah, the only thing is, although they're light, they do take up a lot of room in your suitcase, and I'm pretty sure that it'll get quite expensive. But if you are a teddy bear lover, then that is an option. Salt and pepper shakers. This is a little bit obscure. I got those because someone I knew on board collected salt and pepper shakers, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. I've never heard of that before. I'm gonna do it. I bought one pair of salt and pepper shakers and then realised they're salt and pepper shakers. I don't need more than one pair. And then realised that she must just have like hundreds of salt and pepper shakers at home. But you know what? Each to their own. And they were cheap and they are fairly lightweight. And if you want something a little bit obscure and you like salt and pepper, that might be the way to go. If you're a scrounger like me, then you could get little travel-sized fragrances. Basically, most places you go will have shops, and a lot of perfume shops, if you ask, they'll give out little samples, especially if you say you're a crew member. So that is something that you could try and collect if you like perfume, if you like to smell good. Who doesn't like perfume? But yeah, so that's a cool one. If you are a coffee lover, then you could just collect Starbucks mugs. A lot of crew members tend to go to Starbucks around the world for the free Wi-Fi. A lot of people know this. As soon as the crew members get off in port, they're looking for the free Wi-Fi, and it's usually at Starbucks if there is a Starbucks. And Starbucks, as I'm sure a lot of you know, sell mugs with places around the world on there. So I think in the Fro, she collects lots and lots of Starbucks mugs everywhere she goes, and that's really cool. If you're a coffee drinker and you like mugs, then do that. Okay, so that is just a few ideas of what you can collect while you are working on a cruise ship. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope this has helped you decide what you are going to collect. Magnets. It's definitely the best choice, but do what you will, do what you will. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Please press like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.